Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association. Thank you for joining me for another Leadership Live. Remember this statement: find center and adjust. It'll make sense to you in just a moment. So one of the cool things about doing this weekly blog is that you get to find out bits of information about me as a person to see if I walk consistently with what I tell you about leadership. You found out some about the way that I live my life, the way that I parent, how I lead in business, and today I want to take you back to my college days. I was blessed to be a part of a group in college called Belmont Company. We were a show choir, and the year before I got in the show choir, they were one of the top show choirs in the nation. It was something I really wanted to be a part of. The only problem was I couldn't dance. I was so bad at dancing, I didn't even go to a prom in high school. But I wanted to be a part of this. I worked really hard. I made some great friendship relationships. And the director of that group, Miss Marjorie Halbert, saw something in me that allowed her to stretch me and make me part of that group. Now, I'd love to tell you that my dancing got great, but that didn't happen. I still was one of the worst in the group, if not the worst. And I often found myself in the back right corner when we would perform because that was the least visible to the audience. But I was still part of the team, and because I loved to sing, I was allowed to be a part, at least on the vocal component. There were a couple of lessons I learned from that experience that I apply to business today. So one thing I want to make sure that you as leaders understand is every leadership lesson doesn't come from a leadership book. It doesn't come from a business setting. Sometimes the situations that you learn in life can be applied to you as an individual, and then you apply them to your team or to those you're seeking to impact. Here's a couple of things I learned from being a part of Belmont Company. First of all, I found out that if you're looking down at your feet to make sure that your steps are right, you will get lost. In other words, it's very difficult to be looking down and to stay in step with everything else that's going on around you. And so I began understanding the value of looking up and looking out. As a leader, if you get overwhelmed by the situation that you're in and you're focused on that situation, that's the same as looking down. You are at the control of everything going on around you. You've got to look up and you got to look out. To lead, you have to be visually pointing to where you want to go. You can't lead by looking down. But maybe the greatest lesson I learned came from Miss Halbert. She often said it to me. My partner was often a dear, dear friend, Gina Boothpage. And Gina would often get partnered with me, not because she was a bad dancer, but because somebody had to be partnered with me. And oftentimes, because of me, we would find ourselves out of step with the rest of the people in the group. And Miss Halbert would look at us and she would say, if you get lost, find center and adjust. It's great advice then. It's even greater now because what she said to me was, if you find yourself in a situation where you're not in step, where you know you're not doing what needs to be done, evaluate the situation around you and adapt your situation for success. Find center and adjust. For instance, if you find yourself in the midst of a pandemic and the world around you has changed, to continue to do business the way you've always done it will not achieve success. You must adjust to the situation that you're in. And that's what the people who look to you for leadership are expecting from you. So I challenge you to look at life around you and find situations that you can share with your team, that you can help adapt their life as well. Secondly, don't find yourself looking down, overwhelmed by your situation. And third, if you do get out of step, if you need to change, look at what's working around you and adjust your position so that you are positioned for success. When you do that, then you're ready to lead.